Hello everybody and welcome back to the World Mountainbike Orienteering Championships in Warsaw, Poland. Today it is the mass start. We've already had the sprint and the middle. The athletes get a rest day tomorrow, but today the mass start. We are in the arena here. It's a former sports airfield in Górska, just outside the administrative boundaries of Warsaw. There used to be an airport here, but now the Górska project envisages the construction of a shopping centre, an amusement park, and everything to provide family leisure. But today, we're here for the World Mountainbike Orienteering Championships mass start event. You can see the athletes warming up. The men will start at 11 o'clock and the women 10 past 11. So here is a look at the start list. Some very big names, including the defending champion Jan Hasek from Czechia. There are 84 men lining up in the start for the mass start competition today. Jan Hasek, the defending champion, preparing to race hard today in an attempt to get another gold medal. Jan Hasek took the gold with Samuel Pakala in the silver medal position, and Fabiano Bottego took bronze. In terms of the terrain that the men and women will be riding in today, it's a similar sort of area to the middle distance. Plenty of tracks, good rideability, good visibility. And now you can see the athletes beginning to line up. Great images from the drone here. You can see the athletes not far from the forest. So our front row, Christoph Bogar, 2 times medalist. Jonas Masailis, 3rd in the World Cup this year in the mass start. And Andreas Waldman, plenty of top 10s in the mass start discipline, a very, very consistent rider. Wojtek Ludwig, the gold medalist from 2023. Jan Hasek, the defending champion. Andre Haga, silver medalist from 2023. Fabiano Bottega, bronze medalist last year in 2024. Samuel Pacala, 2 gold medals and a silver in 2024 in the mass start discipline. Francis Berthaud, Juri Hadel from Czechia, also from Czechia, Martin Kanter, Ignaz Ambrazas, 5th in the World Cup this year in the mass start discipline. Wojtek Stransky, bronze medal in 2019. Timu Kaksonen from Finland. Riccardo Rosetto from Italy. The athletes being given their maps. They'll be able to see them for 15 seconds before the start. Mika Nurmi from Finland. 2 medals so far this World Championships. That rounds off our 2 first rows. And it's Jan Hasek who is in the middle of the front row, ready to defend his title. The men have 24.6 kilometres with an optimum route of 33.5 kilometres, 35 controls. And it's just over 2 minutes until they head out into the forest. The estimated winning time for today's race between 75 and 80 minutes. One minute to go. It's already up to 28 degrees here in Warsaw. Hot conditions for the race, and the riders prepare to start. 15 seconds to go. The athletes are allowed to see their maps. And the athletes off into the forest then. 84 athletes. And they make their way as a pack into the forest. And then we wait to see which groups form, who gets ahead. Looks like a Czechia top leading the way. That's Christoph Bogar. And the rider's flying around the corner there. "84 men in this class today." An athlete here just taking his time, wanting to make sure he gets a good execution. So let's have a look at the map then. From the start, they have a common long leg with route choice, different options for passing the road, to a common control before there are 2 butterfly loops. Yeah, this will split the athletes up. Lots of route choice, some technical sections of path before they move on to a second common section and 2 more butterfly loops, one through a residential area and one through a very dense network of tracks. And finally, back to the original first control, and then another common section of course. This will be the athlete's chance to take a risk to get ahead. Lots of route choice in here before entering the arena. And first across the line wins. So 24.6 kilometers, 33.5 kilometers is the optimal route. 35 controls, 270 meters of climb, and hopefully some very exciting racing. The forest will get very, very busy today. The women will start at 10 past 11. And we also have the Junior World Championships starting 10 minutes after the women. So 4 different classes will be in the forest at once. You can see the women now warming up. They start in just over 5 minutes. And of course we do have intermediate controls out there to be able to follow the live results. So last year it was Nicolina Splittorff from Denmark who took home the gold medal. So introducing the athletes, Valerie Kamararova. She was the bronze medalist from 2024. From Denmark, Camilla Sorgaard. Gold medalist from 2018 and 2022, a very talented rider. Mikuvien from Lithuania, 9th in the World Cup mass start this year. Martina Tichovska, yesterday's champion, 4 medals in the mass start, including a gold in 2023. Nicolina Splittorff, our defending champion, gold medalist from 2024. Ruska Saarela already taken home 2 medals from the World Championships so far. A gold and a silver. Gabriella Gustafsson, 2nd in the middle race yesterday. Constance de Villiers, 5th in the World Cup this year. Antonia Haga, talented rider from Finland. Italy's Pecorari there. Fantastic ride yesterday. And less than 2 minutes to go then until the women set off into the forest. Less than a minute to go. Again, the athletes allowed to see their map from 15 seconds to go. That gives them a chance to put their map into their map board and just have a quick look at what to expect from the course. Of course, we know a long common first leg. The women have that in common with the men. And they turn their maps. And they're off. 46 women will enter the forest in an attempt to perform well in today's mass start competition. Fantastic drone shots here showing the women entering the forest. That looks like France's Constance de Villiers leading the way. Sorla just behind. Looks like a bit of congestion there as they round the corner. Today's terrain very similar to the middle distance race yesterday. Lots of track networks, good rideability, good visibility. Athletes are allowed to cut again. You can see some very sandy conditions on the track here. Another sand dune area. And we've got the riding camera out there today as well. This first leg designed to split up the athletes. I'm sure we'll see some groups starting to form. Of course, the athletes will complete the butterflies in different orders to each other. They have no idea who is riding in which order. So they can't just tuck in and follow, they have to keep track of where they are riding, do their own navigation as well. The women don't quite have as far as the men. They have 20.4 kilometres with an optimal route of 27.3 kilometres, 31 controls and 250 metres of climb. This first leg has some route choice. Be interesting to see if any of the riders have split up. Sandy terrain proving quite tricky here. Lots of athletes off the bike and running. So we've got 4 intermediate splits for the men and 3 for the women. They'll bring us live results through the race. And now our juniors start to warm up, start to line up in the arena. I'm back in the forest here with the women. Once all of the juniors are out into the forest, we'll be able to show the maps with some GPS tracking. A reminder of the start list for the women's class, with the defending champion wearing number 201, Nikolina Splitov. Less than a minute until the junior men head off. So there is the start of the junior men's class. And 10 minutes to go until the junior women. There's 49 junior men racing today and 41 junior women. That is the under 20s category. And the first few women have gone through the first intermediate control, and it's Ruska Sarala who leads. She rode through 6 seconds ahead of Lauren Meyers. Here are the results from that first split. So 25 seconds dividing the top 20. And Sarala with a 6-second gap. Just over 5 minutes to go until the final mass start, which is the women's under-20s, as part of the Junior World Championships that's been running alongside the Senior World Championships this week. Once the final class are out into the forest, we'll be able to show the maps with the GPS routes. You will be able to see if any groups have formed, if any groups have split up, if there's any breakaways. Great to see some supporters in the arena. Who knows, maybe in 10 years they'll be the ones riding. And the junior women getting ready to line up at the start. 41 junior women, nearly as many as the seniors. You can see the athletes carrying 2 SI cards. They have to wear 2 in case one of them doesn't work. Just over 2 minutes to go. The athletes getting given their maps here. They're able to view their maps with 15 seconds to go. But they have to keep 1 foot on the floor until the start whistle goes. Just over a minute to go. "15 seconds to go." And the junior women off into the forest. All our classes now into a very, very busy forest. Great to see lots of support in the arena. And now we'll be able to see the maps and the GPS routes. So this is the GPS of the men. And we do see a split. It's just WMTBOC of this group that decides to go further west. WMTBOC, one of the Polish riders. And here they split off on their different butterfly loops. Each rider will do every single different loop, but of course in a different order. Otherwise they would all just ride as a pack. This splits them up. Looks like a mistake from Caxton there in the top corner. And we've got a group forming Pokala, Ludwig and Hasek. At the first split in the men's course, it was Wojtek Ludwig who punched just ahead of Mikonomi. And then there's a group of men riding together. Looking at the women, we know Ruska Sarala was leading at the first intermediate control. We know she's a very, very quick rider. Different route here to the men, but all sticking together. And now the women split up onto their butterfly loops. Sarala and Tachovska on the same loop. Gosson leading her loop and Yegi leading hers. And it looks like Sarala and Tachovska have split up now. Sofia's leading just ahead of Gosson and Sogard just behind. An advantage of a mass start is that in groups you can draft, which means you can work together, give each other a bit of a break. So actually riding in a group could be an advantage. If you're riding alone, you have to take on all the work yourself. And considering these courses have lots of changes in direction, lots of route choices, and the fact that there are 4 different classes of competition out in the forest at the moment, athletes will have to be careful for riders coming the opposite way to them. There's a slight risk of collision in a mass start event. So riders have to be very aware. There's also a bit more contour detail in this course in comparison to the middle and the sprint. In yesterday's middle we saw one long ridge, whereas today slightly more intricate contour detail with individual hilltops. So Sarla and Tashovska on different butterfly loops now. And it also looks like Gustafsson is in that group at the southern part of the map. And this is the GPS of the men. They look to have split up a fair bit. Hasek and Mycelis riding together potentially. Nikinen and Pakala pretty close together. Of course, it's very difficult to know who's leading when everyone's doing different things. Once they have all returned back to the common point after completing the butterfly loops, we'll have a slightly better idea of the positioning of the athletes. Haga and Nibielski still riding fairly close together, but Nibielski looks to be ahead. Looks like we've also got a group: Stransky, Kaksonen and Pritzik. They're also riding with Ambrazas, number 109. So we're certainly seeing some groups forming here. Although maybe a mistake from Kaksonen. He's no longer riding with the group. The difficulty is once you've been dropped, it's very, very hard to close the gap back when the group is working together. And of course this map looks very complex for us, but the athletes will have numbered controls, meaning they know exactly which direction they are completing the course and which order of butterflies they have. What they don't know is the order of the other athletes' butterflies, which also splits the groups up. It's still 28 degrees in Warsaw. And it'll get hotter. It'll reach 30 degrees as the athletes start to finish. Back to the women. Definitely a group with Gustafsson and Sogard. Although De Villiers is no longer part of that group. Gosson still there. Tuchovska riding ahead of Pecorari. Tuchovska had that first loop with Ruska Sorla, but they then split up on different butterflies. Big group of riders up to the north. Looks like Yegi riding with Rasmus. Tilda Palm also in there, the Swede, who had a fantastic ride during the sprint race, coming home with a bronze medal. Looks like Yegi, Rasmus, Palm. Is that Nedim Leliver as well? Definitely a group forming there. Maya's also part of that group. It looks like Yigi and Rasmus picking a different route here to Palm and Nedumlelova. Haga and Sarala onto the second butterfly at the top part of the map. Sogard and Garson still riding together. And it looks like the group with Rasmus and Palm have come back together. Not too much difference between those routes. Looks like Laura Mayer's been static for a long time. She's about to be passed by Costa. And we're back with the men now. Kaksonen and Pritzik riding together. Nomi and Nibielski. But everybody else riding alone. Maybe Lorela and Stransky riding together. Feldman also in that group with Nibielski and Nomi. And Brazos behind them. Wonder if he's been dropped. Hager static in the same place we saw Mayer's static. So potentially the GPS just cutting out there. Waldman choosing a different route choice here to Nibielski. Definitely an interesting route choice from Waldman here. Almost doing two sides of a triangle in comparison to Nomi and Nibielski. Maybe riding through the next few controls could give him an advantage going forwards, but he's definitely lost time there. Quite far now behind Nibielski and Nomi. Bokala and Hasek coming back together at the common control in the top part of the map. Bogar riding closely with Stransky and Lorela just behind. Haga still static here. Potentially a mechanical. Hasek and Piccolo riding together. The men now out for an hour so far. The estimated winning time is 75 to 80 minutes. Pakala and Hasek splitting up here, different route choices. We saw something similar with the women, but it didn't make too much of a difference to their times. Interesting to see that they're not choosing to stick together. I think there must be an issue with GPS in that section because now Boga is static too. Lots of athletes in that top corner loop. Lorela riding ahead of Stransky still. Pakala and Hasek coming back together. Again, that route choice, not really splitting them up. Very 50-50 there. I wonder if Stransky is starting to catch Lorela here. Lorela, one of the silver medalists from yesterday's middle. Kaksonen potentially starting to catch Ambrazas here. And just like we have no idea who is leading here, the athletes have no idea how they are doing in comparison to those around them. They might find themselves in a group at puncher control and then they all split up. Very difficult competition to manage as an athlete. Full focus has to be on themselves. They cannot get distracted by the athletes around them, but they can collaborate with the athletes around them in groups, drafting. But even though they find themselves with an athlete on one loop, they may split up for the next loop. WMTBOC heading back towards the common control at the centre, as well as the group with Hasek and Pakala. The athlete's now out for an hour and 5. So about 10 to 15 minutes now until the estimated winning time. So here we are then in the forest. This must be the next common control. We will get intermediate results here. Looking out for our leader. And it's Jonas Maiselis from Lithuania who comes through with the leads. "65 minutes, 48 seconds, but how big is his gap? Quite a big gap here. This will be really beneficial for him in the final linear section of the course. From here, the rest of the controls are common. And it's just first to the finish. This is a significant gap. Of course, still lots of route choice and potential to make mistakes in the final section of the course. But no sign of any other riders yet. Ambrezas with a strong lead here. Maiselis, sorry, not Ambrezas. Getting my Lithuanians mixed up.
Should you start Polo?
So more riders then approaching. Wojtek Ludwig, Samuel Pakala. And now the group rides through Hannes Snillika, Nordgren, Altonen, WMTBOC, Nikkanen. All about 2.5 minutes down. So a group of 7 chasing down Jonas Maiselis from Lithuania. Maiselis came 3rd at the World Cup mass start this year. Now with the riding camera. But back to the intermediate control, Mika Nurmi, yesterday's silver medalist, Waldmann from Austria, Rosetto from Italy. These guys about 3 minutes down, so 30 seconds from the group ahead. So following the GPS of Mycelis here. That looks like a mistake there. Very odd route choice. It's lost him some time. So it looks like Mycelis may have forgotten a loop. We'll have to see at the finish. Jan Hasek, last year's champion, down by 4.5 minutes in 13th position. So we'll have to be cautious with Mycelis here. Potentially missing out one of the loops. But there's a tight group behind him. I think it was led by Bogar. Bakala also in that group. And then cutting through. And I think a crash from a camera bike. Next group through, Bertord, Bettega, Rieder, Dubois, Kaksonen.
Nu kommer de.
And Nikkanen leading now. Nibielski in second. Riding together. They've got themselves a gap from this group now. No sign of the rest of the pack. They were about 2.5 minutes down on Mycelis. With a group of 8 or so. And here come the rest. Mika Nurmi, Ludwig, Waldmann, Polkala, Rosetto, Altonen, Nordgren. Less than a minute down on Nikkanen. Nikkanen riding, of course, with Nibielski. Nibielski at his home World Championships. He was so disappointed that a mistake cost him time yesterday. He ended up outside of the podium. He's been so close to a podium position twice now, 8th in the sprint as well. So he'll be looking for a top spot amongst today's riders. But it's Tommi Nikkanen that leads. Want to mention Tatu Altonen as well here. He's been solid through the last couple of days. He's been an early starter and has been leading throughout the race until some of the big names come through at the end. And Brazas from Lithuania through in 10th, less than 2 minutes down. And the defending champion, Jan Hasek. 2 minutes off the pace of Nikinen and Nibilski. Nurka, Reeder, Betega, Kaxinen, Bertor, Debray. The chasing group. 3 minutes down on the leaders. Nikinen and Nibilski managing to get that gap. About a minute and a half ahead. So looking at the GPS then. A big mistake there from Altonen and Pakala, allowing Nibilski to get ahead. Similar route choices. And we'll see how they manage the final few controls. Three controls to go. And not much nav to be done after control 56. Nikinen and Nibilski still riding together. The chasing group have not caught back the time. Pakala leading the pack. Although they look like they're riding faster here. Still 3 controls to go. Can the chasing pack close down the leaders? Nikinen and Nibilski riding together still. Feldman looks like he's starting to drop off from the pack here. We'll get another intermediate split at control 56. Marcellus through first, although we might think that he's missed out a loop here. Nibilski and Nikinen about 30 seconds still ahead of Ludwig, Pakala and Voldman. Nurmi, Rosetto, Altonen all riding as part of this group, and Rasmus Nordgren. It's a big group, 10 athletes all fighting for a spot in the top 6, ideally the top 3. So the pack 30 seconds back from Nibilski and Nikinen. 2 controls to go. Not much nav to be done now. just flat out riding.
Tam już się robi z tego wjazd na Mountainbike.
Even if the pack can't catch Nabilski and Nikkanen, there'll be for sure a sprint finish to decide on those top 6 positions. This will be so exciting inside the arena. Not long now until we see them at the finish. Here's Mycelis. So looking out in the arena, 1 hour and 20 minutes, 80 minutes of riding. And here is Lithuania's Mycelis. He pushes away the flag. I wonder if he knows that he's missed out a loop here. Mycelis across the line. The first finisher of today's mass start. But it's not him that we're looking for. Looks like they've split up here, and this could be a fun sprint finish. This is Hager at the front, number 102. Andre Hager. Oh, Tommi Nikkanen. Tommi Nikkanen across the line first. Similar time to Nabilski. Pikala in third, Waldman fourth. Rasmus Nordgren across the line in fifth. Rosetto in sixth. Tatu Aaltonen seventh. Mikonomi eighth. But Tommi Nikkanen across the line first.
Hard to secure his second spot, but what a sprint finish between Bartosz Niebelski and the Finn. Tommi Nikkanen.
Hyvä toppa. Mones.
But that would be fair to him.
Mones toppaali.
A very exciting finish for the top 8. It was Tommi Nikkanen who crossed the line first. And a fantastic ride from Bartosz Niebelski, the local athlete from Poland, at his home world champs.
Ja, men då kör ni.
Bra.
Jag häller på dig. Men fan, jag har inte sett efter startpunkten.
Nej, jag ser du är helt svart.
And the next finishers approaching. Ignace and Brazas across the line. Into 9th position. And here is last year's winner, Jan Hasek. Not to be this year. Strong ride nonetheless into the top 10. And we're back at the TV control. Nicolene split off through with over a minute's lead. Split off the defending champion. Back to the finish for a sprint off. I think it was a Swiss athlete to cross the line first. No, Rida into 12th. Malsrus just behind. Stransky in 14th. Muller 15th. Fabiano Bottega, last year's bronze medalist, in 16th.
And the young Hashik, the title defender now from Czech Republic.
No, Rida having a fantastic championships. Back to the TV control, still no one else through. Split off with a 2.5 minute lead here. Split off multiple medals in this discipline. And of course the defending champion. With the riding cam here. Looks like Gustafsson in the Swedish top. I might be completely wrong.
Yeah.
And the athletes approach the TV split. It's now been 3 minutes since split off has ridden through. That looks like another of the male riders. Here they come. Sorgard from Denmark, Czechia's Nedim Lelova, Sweden's Gustafsson, and of course the camera bike. So 3.5 minutes down on the time of split off, who leads at the TV split. So even if they can't close the gap to split off, it's going to be a battle between Sogard, Nedim Lelova and Gustafsson for a spot in the top 3. Gabriela Gustafsson looking like she was struggling to hold on. Here comes Tchowska, Velen Rita. Athletes having to be careful coming in from different directions. Shows the course is splitting them up. Lots of route choice. Ruska Sarala, 2 medals so far this World Championships, but she's 4.5 minutes off the pace now. It's looking good for Nicolene split off. Dane hoping to defend her title with a 2.5 minute lead.
Super Joao. You made it. Got him. Bravo.
Pecorari and Palm through the TV split.
I went down too early.
And a big group here. Jana Hanilka, Camara Rover, Kristoffersen, Herv, Umbrasite and Yegi, Siri Rasmus, McCuvien. A big group of riders, 5 minutes down. Haga just behind them. And Jolan Ortiz.
Kdy je první?
Jak to?
Protože mašeli z MP. A to bylo vidět, jak dojížděl. Takže víš, že nemá titul.
Back with the riding camera now.
Prostě má zase u 100 metrů místa.
Athletes coming in lots of different directions here.
Dobrá zpráva.
So the top 20 have come through our TV splits. 5.5 minutes dividing them. Nicolene split off with a very big lead. Is this split off we're with? Certainly a Danish jersey. Potentially Sogard, the Dane who came through in second.
Vypadá, že finišuje.
Promiň?
Vypadá, že by finišovala.
80 minutes of riding for the women.
Na ně nepřijde, že by vyhrála.
The forest looks absolutely gorgeous.
Víš co?
Another intermediate split at control code 56. We've had our leader through.
Ne. Super. Jo. A dobrý.
And now it won't be long until we expect to see Nicolene split off, approaching the arena. She's through the final intermediate control. 21 hour, 22 minutes of riding. 2 minutes over the expected winning time. A tough day in the forest for all of the athletes, especially in the heat. Up to 30 degrees here in Warsaw. But we're looking out for Nicolene Splitoff. She's looking to defend her title from 2024.
Tam zachraňovali Francouz.
Splitoff wearing number 201.
Máš telefonní číslo? Máš na ní telefonní číslo aspoň?
Has Splitoff kept this gap? No sign of her at the finish just yet. Here she is. Nicolene Splitoff looking to defend her title from last year. Fantastic run from the Dane. A massive gap at the TV split. And here in the arena, we look out for the new world champion defending her title from 2024, Denmark's Nicolene Splitoff. will cross the line to take the gold medal here in Warsaw, Poland. Fantastic ride from Nikolina Splitov. 1 hour 24:03 is her time at the finish. She's given it absolutely everything out there. Another gold for the Dane. And hopefully an exciting battle for the rest of the medal positions. She had a 3-minute gap back at the radio control. The chasing group through the final intermediate control. Not long until we expect to see them at the finish. But what a gap Splitov has created here. A dominant ride from the Dane. Back with the riding camera. With the chasing pack, is this Camilla Sorgard? You can see the chasing pack has split up. And it is Sorgard who is ahead. Looks good for silver for Sorgard at the moment. A Danish first and second. But Sarala has pulled into the top 3, riding alongside Nedemelova. Gustafsson was also part of that chasing group. It was Nedemelova, Gustafsson and Sorgard. And now at the finish we wait for the athlete who will look to take a silver medal. It's been 2 minutes since Splitov crossed the line. What a ride from her. She retains her title in the mass start from last year. Sorgard was the champion from back in 2022. Can she get herself another medal here? Almost 3 minutes since Splitov crossed the line. There she is, there's Sorgard. And this looks good for a silver medal behind her teammate Splitov. And Sorgard riding into the arena. Camilla Sorgard into the arena, approaching the finish for a silver medal here in Warsaw. Fantastic day to be Danish. Splitov with the gold and Sorgard with the silver. And now we look out for 3rd place. And it is Sweden's Gabriella Gustafsson who has held on, and she takes the bronze. The sprint finish. Nedemelova in 4th. Lots of athletes crossing the line. Italy's Pecorari finishing. We'll wait for confirmation of these positions. I don't think all of them have been registering as they cross the line. But the top 3, Splitov in 1st, Sorgard in 2nd, and Gustafsson with another medal in 3rd.
Vi går bare til billeder, vi hjælper ikke med vand.
Lucia Alemani at the finish. Antonia Hager across the line. Christopherson, McCuvian. These are all part of the chasing pack. Number sight. Tilda Palm. Larry Herve. And another sprint finish here. Oh, and a big crash at the finish. Good to see she's up and okay. That was Kamerarova, Yegi, Anilika, Ilan Ortiz across the line. Siri Rasmus finishing. I wonder if Ruska Sarala is up there in the top 6 as well. Tchovska as well. We'll have to see once they all download. Not all of them registering with the system as they cross the line.
Dana, I see you fly. I wanna, oh my god. Can we even further to the left and to the left? Yeah. Almost. You. Yeah, we did it, but we just went to the left.
Fantastic riding from all of our female athletes.
Thank you so much.
The athletes taking their time to recover. Very, very hot in Warsaw, up to 30 degrees. So this is how the system has picked up our leaders in the women's class. I think there's still a few athletes to download that could change that up. Ruska Sarala definitely up there within the top group. And here is the final standings of the men's race. It was Ludwig who crossed the line first. Nikkanen and Nibilski crossed the line in equal second place. Bukala just off the podium in 4th. Waldman 5th. And Nordgren in 6th. Ludwig was the champion back in 2023, and he's added another gold medal to his collection. And you'll still have to wait for the download of the women to be able to see the final results. So we've now had the download of Ruska Sarala. She did finish in 4th position, 10 seconds down on Gabriela Gustafsson, and just 2 seconds ahead of Lucy Nedomlova from Czechia. Martina Tichovska finished in 6th. So here's the results at the finish for the men. Nibilski will be pleased to get his medal. And for the women, Nicolene Splittorff defending her title, our mass start champion, Camilla Sogord in 2nd position with the silver, Gabriela Gustafsson with the bronze, Ruska Sarala into 4th position, not to be for another medal for her today, Lucy Nedomlova into 5th, and Martina Tichovska in 6th. So that brings us to the end of the mass start competition today. Thank you so much for joining us. The athletes have a rest day tomorrow, but we'll be back for more exciting racing with the long and the relay over the weekend. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you shortly.